After having some early hors d'oeuvres, Ruby and I are playing pool while drinking one of Martin's concoctions, a lime cordial. I have to remember from 30 years ago how to play pool. Line up the shot but still see the cue ball and the object ball in one field of vision, stroke true and firm, and plan for good position on the next ball, presumably having all easy shots thereafter until bad luck arrives. Ruby Yacht's gears were turning, prepared by she having lived a life of wonder and long inspired by the actualities and philosophies of one of the first great polymaths of old, Omar Khayyam. She is also a scientist. Ruby begins after breaking the rack of balls. There is no great wheel mentioned per se in Fitzomar, although it's greatly hinted at by it rolls impotently on as thou or I. Ruby continues, so the wheel, totality, all fate, God, what is, and the like are all referring to the brief answer of the most often asked question of where did everything come from? And secondly, asking probably, where did the all itself come from? I answer, the great wheel doesn't have any coming from, being ever with no creation of it, as Parmenides indicates. And of course I can't fathom a never-ending depth of ever lower and tinier causes and effects in an infinite regress, for the effect would never be able to surface, it taking forever. So the buck has to stop somewhere, either with quarks or in something not far beneath them. It being suspicious that quarks have a charge of 1/3, yes, but that no coming from is only apparent, since we have to accept that the basic something exists already made without ever having been made. It's just as paradoxical as it having a beginning, as of the something coming from nothing, but for nothing not being able to be. I am being careful here, and will be, lest I state maybes as if they are fact and truth, as so often do the religious, which is far from honorable. Well, Ruby, would you like to banish nothing once and for all by tentatively letting its proponents somehow have it to exist, as silly as that seems, for they will only ever keep on touting it as a source? Okay, Austin, let us allow for the moment that there was a total lack of anything, impossible as that seems. This state of nothing would still be so, however, oops, there is something. Yet they will answer that the something came out of or from nothing, or was spontaneousness, etc. 1. However, since this capability/possibility/potential exists, then they didn't really have an absolute nothing to begin with, as they claimed 1. And so we are back to that of this capability then being what is eternal and ever. 1. I rest my case and thus still accept an eternal basis either way. Ruby notes, Austin, my dear, there is an even more startling ado about nothing. It is that there can't even be any spacers of nothingness between things anywhere, nor anything such as nothing outside of the all. If nothing was between things, then the things would be adjacent. Right, all is field, as Einstein thought. So Ruby, what would be the nature of the eternal basis, the great wheel? There's no point for its nature to have been decided, specifically given no beginning, this perhaps leaving anything and everything as random. I like random for the ultimate fundamental because Anton Zeilinger shows in his experiments that randomness is the bedrock of reality to a deep and reliable quality of 3 sigma or more. Quantum mechanics finds random as well, which points more toward a potential everything from random maybe, rather than all of it fully formed to begin with, although it could apply somehow to the initial conditions of a block universe being random, I suppose. Still, would the basis be a superposition of everything all at once, or as potentially everything, as in the going through of every possible path eventually? Not that it seems to matter a whole lot. Oh, Austin, we don't know if time's mode is of eternalism or presentism. We're stuck there on such a seemingly simple thing such as time. One difference that may not matter is whether all is predetermined, as in eternalism, or just as well but more slowly still determined as presentism goes along now by now. You're right perhaps in that for our purposes here it may not matter. Well, let's let that mystery sit for now. We still have the indication of random for the fundamental bedrock, which state of an output without an input is ubiquitous in the subatomic quantum realm.